One of the media darlings of the new Democratic Congress is New York's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. After winning a primary against a longtime incumbent, she soared to stardom with mostly flattering media coverage, something another one-time rising political star did not get. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is embracing her celebrity and not backing down on proposals she admits are radical, like eliminating the use of fossil fuels in 12 years.
That is the goal. It's ambitious. And
how is that possible?
It's likely not possible. But Ocasio-Cortez says in order to pay for that proposal and more, she'd raise taxes on people making over $10 million a year.
People are going to have to start paying their fair share.
Conservative commentators have jumped on that.
She and others never quite explain what fair share really means.
But most news organizations have come to Ocasio-Cortez's defense on just about everything, including when conservatives tried to make fun of her over a college dance video that went viral.
The right sometimes can focus on someone on the left and overstep to a point where it gets ugly.
Still, Ocasio-Cortez has also said some questionable things, like this response when she was called out for being factually wrong.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
Back in 2008, when John McCain picked Alaska Governor Sarah Palin as his running mate, she was picked apart by the mainstream media.
You've cited Alaska's proximity to Russia as part of your foreign policy experience.
Because our next-door neighbors are foreign countries.
As Boston Globe columnist Joan Vanocchi pointed out this week, Palin was widely mocked. And again, she could have been a heartbeat away from the presidency. Ocasio-Cortez is just at the start of her political career. So I said, as Joan Vanocchi wrote about this week, but other people had mentioned it. And I realized one is a new congressperson and fairly low on the totem pole, and Sarah Palin, could have been the president if John McCain had been elected. But this still strikes me as ideological bias to a point. I feel like she's beautiful and she's, very telegenic, but I feel like the media has embraced her because she's liberal.
Well, there may be something to that. On the other hand, we're starting to see some rather dubious fact-checking done on her, where she will make a hyperbolic point and people will say, oh, that's a lie, it's false. And all she's doing is talking hyperbolically the way a lot of us do. That clip in which she's seen to be defending speaking falsely, what she said right after that I think is important. Anderson Cooper said, but being factually correct is important. And she said, it's absolutely important. And when I make a mistake, I try to restate what my point was. That doesn't get quoted very often. I honestly don't see.
She was talking about being morally right.
No, but when I make a mistake, I try to correct it and state what my point was.
Exactly, and that seems to get left out of this. I think she's doing fine. I do think that as a rookie congresswoman, she is flying a little bit close to the sun, and she might want to get the spotlight off her at least to some extent.
I think the media has focused on her because she was the harbinger of what happened in the 2018 midterm. She was a signal of where the country was going before Ayanna Pressley and a whole bunch of other people. That's, I think, why she's been covered as early and as frequently, and I don't know if I'd say positively, but as dramatically as she has. And I don't think that Mika Brzezinski pointing out that the sort of weird, infatuatory response the right had to that dancing video is evidence of bias. I thought it was a little bizarre how fixated so many, in particular male conservatives, were absolutely disgusted by her socialism, how they almost luxuriated in talking about this video that was shot in college when she was dancing. So I don't see it as quite as a bigger problem as you do.
I tend to agree. I think Adam is right that what brought her to the point where all eyes are on her, and particularly the eyes of the opposition here, was the fact that she upset an old line member of Congress who just nobody ever expected to leave Congress. Congress other than perhaps horizontally on a gurney. So that brought her a lot of attention. But she's brilliant because of her generation, I think, at then taking advantage of the attention when it came her way, particularly using social media. She is as outspoken on Twitter as our president is, and I like your line about she's flying a little bit close to the sun. I would imagine that she'll adjust to that. I don't buy, though, that this is that somehow liberal bias is protecting her. I simply think that she's something of a phenomenon because she is in some ways emblematic of a significant change that's going on, and the fact that she is being victimized as I think crazily as she is, and a comparison drawn with Sarah Palin, I think that's over the. As you pointed out, Sarah Palin could have been a heartbeat away from the presidency. I think our standard of insistence on accuracy is a whole lot higher.
Yeah, I sort of question the whole premise here. That there's a big difference in the way Palin and Ocasio-Cortez are being treated. Keep in mind, when Sarah Palin was chosen, she was a sensation. I remember in the newsroom, the news director at the time was like, "What are our Palin stories today?" The viewers couldn't get enough of it, and her speech at the Republican convention was a sensation. She was being hailed as the new wave of American political figure. Then the scrutiny began, and she started to bleep up and was ridiculed for it. Yes. Well, same thing with this young Congresswoman. All the incredible hype machine, which she's feeding into by giving all these interviews and so forth. She makes a mistake. She gets called on it. You know, life goes on, I think. But I don't see that there's a real double standard.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the stuff that they were asking Sarah Palin, you know, what newspapers do you read, what books do you read, it's just they were just drilling down. Nothing could be done to make her look stupider. There was a lot of intentional.
You think of the what newspapers do you read as a gotcha question? Because to me that's the easiest thing in the world. If you're someone who informs and so
that's not a standard question. Nobody asked Joe Lieberman what newspapers he read.
Well, I think they asked her that because we had no idea who she was. Right? All of a sudden, this person no one's ever heard of is on the verge of running the United States.
They were looking for an answer, which was, I don't read newspapers.